In this video, I'm going to talk about the Rockets' thrilling win over the New Orleans Pelicans on the road in a tough game where the young Frontcourt combined for 63 points and 22 rebounds. Wow. We're going to talk about this and more. Tap in right now. Enjoy. The Rockets Chop Shop is your one-stop shop for all your basketball needs, for highlights, analysis, podcasts. We do it all here at the Rockets Chop Shop. Make sure you hit the like button on the videos that you watch if you enjoy them. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications from all the great drops that we have on the channel. Also, you can visit the Chop Shop merch store and get you some of the swaggiest gear in the Houston Rockets kingdom. And if you want, you can always support the channel directly through donations. And if you want, you can support us through our partnerships with our sponsors. The Rockets Chop Shop is made by fans, for fans, and we're going to keep rocking and keep dropping that heat.
This is something I know.
So 2 plays I want to point out showing the synergy between Alperen Sengun and Jabari Smith Jr. The first play, this is at the 11-minute mark in the first quarter. The Pelicans are starting to pick up Fred VanVleet full court, right? So there's a lot of pressure. So what they like to do is have Jabari bring the ball up the court to relieve Fred from being hounded by Herb Jones. Jabari brings the ball up the court, goes into a dribble handoff with Fred VanVleet. And then Alp comes from the weak side to set a screen here for Fred, and they get right into a pick and roll from that. And you love this because it's loading up the side of the court that you want with Jabari and Sengun, because this is what they are trying to get. In case Sengun has to go into a post up, you always want Jabari as the guy that's kind of the release valve, and I'll talk about that in a second. And they go into the pick and roll. You get Fred with a nice pass back to Alp, who's trailing slightly. And here's the growth from Jabari. Seeing that Zion has to come down to tag Alperen Sengun as his assignment in the pick and roll defense, because Alp could attack a Valanciunas or get a free shot. Zion comes and basically stunts at him a bit, but as soon as Zion commits to that, you have Jabari cutting off of that into a nice easy dunk. Great synergy, great play design. That 2-man game between Alp and Jabari is just cooking up. Another great play, and this is something that I noticed as the game progressed on, and this is something that I'm noticing in the previous games, is Jabari Smith's shooting has become more and more efficient and more consistent. In this play here, I just love this play. This play has several options that the Rockets wanted to use. You get Fred giving an entry pass to Dillon Brooks with the intent they're going to run a off-ball screen here for Jabari to get this, and he's going to curl down. And Zion does a great job of kind of cutting that off. Now, I'm going to assume this was a dummy action, but if it was there, he would have been able to attack a weak defender. Zion does a great job walling off. B.I. gives a great stunt. You get Sengun sealing off Robinson Earl in the post. And the reason I wanted to point this play out is just because I want you guys to see the bind that Zion is in. So right here, you have where you have Sengun in the post up against a mismatch, which for, I would say, about 80% of the NBA, his post ups are mismatches. You have Jabari Smith Jr., who's shooting in the past few games 40-something% from 3, and his shooting is going to sustain. He's a sniper, right? And then you have off-ball action. Watch what Fred is telling Jalen to do, right? Fred is going to come and set a down screen and have Jalen shake up to the wing area. Now you just have great spacing. So the Pelicans really don't have anything to do here. They're pretty much helpless. The only thing you can do is either you're going to commit to double teaming Sengun and give up a 3 to Jabari, or you're going to commit to guarding the shooters and let Sengun cook in the post. And Zion is just stuck here. And just even though Zion is slightly hesitant, the fact that Jabari is such a good shooter, we just punished them with this. And you get that nice swish off of that play. And they just went to this over and over. And shout out to Coach Udoka for noticing this alignment, because he's been using this alignment. Because if it was Dylan Brooks, or even to a lesser extent Fred VanVleet being a shorter player flanking Sengun as he's in the post, teams don't respect it as much because they can come out and contest. You put a 6'11" forward out there that's shooting north of 40%, it's a whole different ball game.
Coach, you talked about the physicality and how you guys were out physical. Alperen Sengun seems to have embodied that tonight. What was he doing to be so effective against your defense?
He just kicked our butts, to be honest with you. He's 17 free throws, so his gamesmanship is off the charts. You throw it to him in the post, and he makes solid plays. He just makes a simple play. He's a great passer. He has that spin move where if you're not careful, he can spin. And he took over in the fourth quarter. They played through him. We didn't have a great answer for him. But like I said, these are moments where we have to feel it. We have to be honest with each other, and we'll improve and get better.
What about him on the court?
We like the group that we had on the floor. Tried to go a bit bigger with against Sengun with JRE, especially with Jonas being in foul trouble.
So the Rockets got a thrilling victory over the New Orleans Pelicans in a game that was dominated by our front court. Jabari Smith Jr. and Alperen Sengun really took over the game for the whole game. They carried the team where our guards weren't really having the most efficient night. And this is, to me, a development that I've been seeing over time. I had said this on Twitter a few weeks back. I wanted people to start noticing that two-man game between Jabari and Sengun, and even a few games ago where I pointed out that what I'm seeing developing from these two is special. It is incredibly special. And for them to come out against a team that we've struggled against on the road, I think we had lost 7 straight in New Orleans, to come out and not only carry the team but dominate. And to me, they don't dominate without each other, because I think that Jabari really helps Sengun, and Sengun really helps Jabari in what they're doing. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, about some of the stats from there, what I'm seeing between the two of them. But just going over the game, briefly, you look at some of the stats, nobody really had, outside of Sengun and Jabari, most of the guys were pedestrian, right? You had Fred VanVleet with 10 points and 3 assists. How many of those games are the Rockets winning? A 10-3 game from Fred VanVleet, where he was a +1, shot 27% from the field, 28% from 3. How many of those games are we winning? Jalen Green only played 22 minutes, right? Got benched 6 minutes into the third quarter, never saw the court after that, which is, at this point, we just accept it for what it is. Like I keep telling y'all with Jalen, it is what it is, bro. Like, if he isn't ready to be a starter or be a guy that closes out games, then the coaches have to adjust. And the reason you can do that is because you have other players. We don't have to rely on Jalen Green, superstar or bust, for our team to be successful, as we've been doing this entire season for most part. So I think he is actually in a good situation where we don't require him to be a superstar. Right. So if he is going to be good at some point in the future, he has time to be in the lab, get in the lab and work on that. But as of right now, Jalen is just Jalen. He's just out there. You like what he does when he's playing aggressively, and hopefully he doesn't have a lot of games where he's turning the ball over as much as he did against this Pelicans team. I actually liked his offensive approach, attacking the basket, forcing the issue. The turnovers, head scratchers. So we got a limit on that. But for him, 22 minutes, 25, 0 for 4 from 3, 25% from the field. Got to the line 6 times. 4 rebounds. Been really impressed with Jalen's rebounding, even in the game versus Dallas. In that game, I'm not going to talk too much about it. They basically had their G League team out there. But he got benched, and they gave the nod to Tari Eason and Uncle Jeff and Aaron Holiday to kind of rotate through those minutes. Dylan Brooks, 27 minutes, 2 of 7 from the field. He shot bad, 28, 25 from 3, only 5 points. And you look at across, Jalen only had 9 points. You look across this is a game by all accounts that we should have lost. But if it were not for our all-star center, Alperen Sengun, and his co-worker, Jabari Smith Jr., carrying the team, this probably would have been a game that we lost, right? So you look at, let's go with Jabari first. First, I want to point out Jabari and Sengun played 37 and 38 minutes respectively on the second night of a back-to-back. Now, I know they got to rest a little bit against the Mavs, But still, the endurance that these dudes are playing with at this level, playing both ways, and Sengun had great defense. Jabari had great defense. Playing both sides of the court to play 38 minutes in a game where the team goes to you in stretches. It is truly special and remarkable to see from guys that are 20 in Jabari's case and 21 in Sengun's case. So Jabari Smith, 10 of 14, 71% from the field, 80% from the three-point line, 4 or 5, crazy. 66% from the free throw line, 26 points, 11 boards, great 11 boards, 4 offensive rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, only 1 turnover. To me, Jabari he has turned the corner. I've told you guys that since he got benched. I did the video looking at his stats from his benching till now. Shout out to Ime Udoka, man. Anybody that's hating on Coach Udoka at this point, you are just a hater, right? You are just a hater. Yes, we could disagree with some of his tactics. And there's some nights like against Atlanta where he's going to get out-coached, or there's going to be a scheme that they didn't adjust for in real time, or they can't adjust for because it's too complex to do it without practicing. But at the end of the day, this dude is the goods, right? He is delivering and he is molding these young men to be the type of players that we want them to be. I mean, you look at what Jabari Smith Jr. is doing. This is a guy that was unplayable. He was the worst player we had on our team last year. And in stretches for the first 6 months of the season, dude was the worst player in the league. So the leaps that he's taken, shout out to Jabari, shout out to his dad, shout out to his work ethic. And this is just him scratching the surface right now. But 37 minutes, the efficiency, I mean, the defense, he was guarding CJ. He had CJ McCollum shook. Dude did not want to do anything when Jabari Smith Jr. is in front of him. When you see that 6'11" frame, sprawled out, pause, and he is just there in front of you, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? But great game from Jabari. Great game from Jabari. I'm going to talk about him and Sengun a little bit more in a little bit. But Alperen Sengun, the man of the hour, 38 minutes, once again, on the second night of a back-to-back, 38 hard-fought, grueling, grinded out, post up against one of the biggest bullies, bruisers in the NBA, and Jonas Valanciunas, got him out of there in foul trouble. 38 minutes being the focal point of the team, right, of going through you in the post. 38 minutes of punishing players and dominating on the inside. 38 minutes of cleaning up on the glass, 38 minutes of being attacked by the opposing team and trying to take advantage of your weaknesses, whether it's with Zion or with BI in the pick and roll, and 38 minutes of answering the bell, 38 minutes of dominating. This is what we're saying, bro. This dude is like, once again, if you guys come to this channel to listen to me talk and you feel the type of way about when I talk good or bad about our players, then, you know what I mean? That's just you. But I think a lot of you guys watch this channel because of the objectivity that we bring. So if I am telling you that a player is special, if I'm telling you there are things that I'm seeing and you're like, oh man, you hate this guy or you love this guy, I mean, then you probably don't want to watch the channel too much. But one thing I'm not going to do is lie to you guys about what my eyes and what my brain is seeing. And I'm going to keep saying, Alperen Sengun is special, bro. What this dude is doing is unseen, bro. I have not seen a player at his age, of his style, this young, dominate in the manner that he does. And he is just scratching the surface. Once again, he is 21 years old, just turned 21 in October. Dude is a few months older than Jabari Smith Jr., right? I think Jabari's birthday is like in February or something like that. They are only a few months apart. So Alp is damn near the third or fourth youngest player on our team right now. I think he's third. I think it's Cam, Jabari, then maybe Alp. I don't know. I might be missing one of the young guys. But that is how young this dude is, right? How many more off seasons do you get to where his body is built and defined like a Sabonis's? How many more off seasons where you get to where this dude has the conditioning to be able to play like he did on a night in, night out basis? How many more off seasons so you can hit your shots, your 3-pointers at a 35% clip? How many more off season where you can move your feet better? This is what I'm saying. Every time one of our players has a bad game, people react and throw them out. Like, oh, trade him. Oh, this is his. Bro, y'all, we don't know what their limitations are. I don't know what Jabari's limitations are. I don't know what Jalen's limitations are. I don't know what Sengun's limitations are. What I mean by limitations is what their cap is. I don't know. right? What I do know is the body of work, and that's what I look at. If a guy 80% of the time is dominating, and then 20% of the time, because he's 21 years old, is looking bad, I'm going to trust the 80%. You know what I mean? I'm going to play the numbers there, right? That's a safe bet for me. And I think what a lot of people do is they find things that are wrong. And if they see something bad about a player, they just do their confirmation bias and say like, oh, even though he might have had 10 games of dominating, 2 games of them being bad is like, oh yeah, see, this is why I don't want him on a team. This is why we can't blah, blah, blah. All of that is cap, bro. This dude went out there and had the Pelicans damn near scrambling. You heard what their coach said. They were lost. They didn't have an answer for it. They had nothing they could do. They were throwing different players at him. They couldn't work. They tried to hide people. Couldn't hide them because we were going to go find them. Valanciunas was gotten out of there because he can't guard him. Robinson Earl was being cooked on a consistent basis because he's too small. Can't put Zion on him because he's a bad defender and he would get in foul trouble. Can't put anybody else. Herb Jones is too small. They don't have an answer. They don't have a body type on their roster to really bother Alperen Sengun. And this is, to me, the markings of a budding superstar, in my opinion. And you can see 38 minutes, like I said, 52% from the field, missed a lot of easy shots. He could have been even more efficient. 101 from 3, a big 3 at that I think it got us to like a tie, to 1 point behind her to tie the game. 14 of 17, got to the free throw line 17 times. That is special. That is playoff basketball. That is what you want to see from a star player. Can you get to the line because the other team cannot guard you? This is what we see on a nightly basis from the Giannis's of the world, from the James Hardens in his prime, from all these, the Embiids of the world, the Jokic's of the world. This is how they score their 30-point games. And if he adds a reliable 3-ball, Duke could average 25. Right? Because you're going to get to the free throw line. You can draw those fouls because guys could not guard you. And not only did he get to the free throw line 17 times, 82% from the free throw line, 11 big boards, 6 big assists, 37 points. 37 points. I mean, I don't know what else to say, bro. Like, at this point, the conversations about, what the team makeup needs to be like needs to start being had. And that's something that the Rockets are going to have to look at going forward is, what type of team maximizes what all of our guys do, and not just all of our guys, the really good ones, like the Jabari Smith Jr. and the Alperen Senguns. We didn't think this was going to be a front court led team. A lot of people were banking on Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green to be like the backcourt of the future. I never really saw a backcourt of the future there. I saw Jalen, I saw Jabari Smith, and I saw Alperen Sengun, and I saw the triangle. And I was like, man, if we can ever get it where we can get Sengun in the post, Jabari spacing, and Jalen cutting, and that triangle pressure, it would devastate teams because they're all so talented. We got 2 out of the 3. If Jalen Green stops trolling, we may be cooking with some hot grease right now. But, the game, it doesn't even matter what the other guys did. The bench did what they had to do. Tate and Holiday are really starting to piss me off. I'm not going to lie. I really, if you're not going to hit shots, bro, don't get cooked on defense. And Aaron Holiday, I like him. He hit a big 3 there. But, bro, let's stop ball hogging a bit, bro. Like, let's not look off better players. Just do your job. Get the entry pass. Like, he does a lot of ISOs, and then he gets cooked on defense, too. Like, my thing about role players, if you're a role player, just be good at your job, right? I don't like role players that do too much on offense and are bad on defense. Then you don't need to be a role player, right? We see some of those guys that are like shooters that are teams hunt them on defense and like try to get them in actions like they did with JJ Redick, where he'd be trying to like hedge on a screen and run back to his assignment. I can live with that if you're a 40% 3-point shooter on high volume, right? If you're shooting in the low 30s and you're getting cooked, bro, you don't need to be on the court. Right. So this is speaks to what the Rockets need to do. But impressive game from our guys across the board. Gritty game. Jalen played good defense. The offense was a bit sus, but I mean, Jabari and Sengun really carried the team, even on the game where Fred and Dylan and the other guys weren't really doing what they were supposed to do. But these type of wins, especially coming off of back-to-back, the second night of back, and we got a couple of back-to-backs coming up, but it really does define character, and it gives you a preview of what a playoff matchup will look like. A lot of playoff buckets in this game. Okay, so now we're going to tap into the synergy that I'm seeing between Jabari Smith Jr. and Alperen Sengun, and I'm telling you guys, it's there and the numbers back it up. So let's go. So from yesterday, just to go over, like I said earlier, 63 points, 22 rebounds between the two of them, which is impressive. You look at the efficiency between Alp shooting 52%, Jabari 71%, 100% from three for Alp, only one of one, 80% for Jabari, 82% from Alp on the free throw on 17 attempts, 66% from Jabari. I mean, just an all-around dominant game. And a lot of the actions that I saw, and I spoke about this in the film study session, is the Ime Udoka was really focused on putting Jabari as the spacer for Sengun while he was in the post. And this is, to me, one of the best adjustments that he's made. Not saying, because usually it's going to be Fred over there giving him the entry pass and trying to space for him. The thing with Fred is that even though he's a good shooter, he's a good catch and shoot shooter, the problem is that he's short, right? So teams can really bother him with the closeouts. Now, when you put a 6'11" forward there that is a sniper, it changes the equation. I think this is one of the things that the Rockets can keep going to, especially in close games, because you put a bind on the defense. And when it comes to me about offensive players, it's all about binds, right? The pick your poison scenarios, the do or die scenarios. And this is what the great teams put you in. Whether it's Steph and Draymond running a pick and roll into their short roll action, it's a bind there. Why? Because if you're going to not hard hedge or trap Steph, he's going to shoot the three when Draymond screens. But if you do that, you're going to give the ball. He's going to give the ball to one of the most talented short roll passers in NBA history with shooters around him. So you're screwed either way. That is how they won 4 championships. Steph and Draymond pick and rolls. Every great team has a two-man game that is just impossible to solve. We saw a lot of it with Shaq and Kobe, with even with LeBron and D Wade in a different way. You see it with Tim Duncan and Parker and Ginobili, and they would just get you from different ways. But there's always a pick your poison that teams have that you just can't, you can't solve. And for Jabari and Sengun in the post, Jabari spacing, it is a pick your poison, because you trap Sengun, you double him, he's kicking it out to that shooter that's 6'11". The guy that's guarding him is probably not 7 foot tall, right? So the contest really doesn't matter at that point. It is crazy, man. I don't know if you guys understand how special that is for the Rockets to have this level of talent in the front court. So I did want to look at kind of some of the synergy between the two, looking at when they pass to each other. Now, obviously, we know Jabari Smith is not like a guy that gets a lot of assists. So I'm going to focus on this because really the dynamic they're sharing right now is Sengun is going to draw some form of double team and then kick out to a player. And usually that player is Jabari Smith Jr., right? So you look at, this is from the game versus the Pelicans, passes from Sengun to Jabari. Just from this game, 28% of the passes Jabari received were from Sengun, which was the highest on the team. So more than Fred VanVleet, more than any other person on the court. In this game, Jabari was getting his passes from Sengun. Look at Jabari's splits on those passes from Sengun. 83% from the field, 2-point field goal percentage, 100%, 3 out of 3. 3-point field goal percentage, 66.7%. So not only is he getting great passes to Jabari, these are passes that Jabari is hitting at a high clip. This is really, really special. And it just shows you that Jabari really thrives with Alp playing off of Alperen Sengun, showing that two-man game that they have. Now, let's look at this for the entire season. If you look at it from the entire season, 21% of the passes Jabari has received are from Alperen Sengun this year. That's the second highest on the team behind Fred VanVleet. 110 passes, 35 assists. You look at some of the numbers from this, Jabari, so his splits, field goal percentage, this is on the entire season. Alp has passed to Jabari Smith, like I said, 110 times. Jabari's shooting 57.6% on those shots that he is given by Alperen Sengun. On the two-pointers, 64%. So those are dunks, layups, pull-ups, 25 of 39 on those. And on 3-point percentage, these are kickouts from Sengun, 48%. So this is something that, and honestly, a lot of this has been happening most recently. If they had been doing this all season, these numbers would be higher. But the Rockets have found something that they know works, and I think they're going to lean into it going forward. Also want to look at their on-court presence together. So this was something that last year was a big detriment, right? Sengun, when you took Jabari off the court, the team was just much better. When they were on the court together, pretty much anybody with Jabari was not really a positive. But this season together as a front court, 1,226 possessions. So that's damn near, a full half season's worth of possessions. Points per possession on offense for the team is 116.6. Point per possession on defense, 111.4. Net differential plus 5.2. The team is shooting 54.6% from in their EFG percentage, which is, average. That's pretty good. Holding opponents to 51.2% EFG, which is elite, right? So the defense is there. And so also wanted to look at, right? We all know right now Jalen Green is struggling, and he is kind of the guy that is a negative on the starters right now. He is a big negative. So I took out Jalen to see what did they look like when they replaced Jalen with Tari, Jeff Green, Aaron Holiday in aggregate. And so let's look at those possessions. This has been happening more recently, but in those possessions, 187 possessions, so significant. Look at the offense, 120 points per possession in those games, in those possessions. On defense, 104.6. That's a plus 15 net differential. So they're 10 points per 100 possession better with Jalen Green off the court. And then the EFG is not super elite, only 52.6%, but they're scoring in different ways. And then the opponent EFG, 47%. I didn't even drill this down to Tari Eason because the sample size is kind of small, but with Tari, it's stupid. It's like plus 20 something. So you're looking at from the past like two drafts of the 2021 class and the 2022 class. Let's just give Jalen a little grace. Let's remove him from the equation. 3 out of your 4 players are playing at an elite level. And they're, Tari is 22, Sengun is 21, Jabari is 20. And people are still going to say, well, you guys got Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks doing all the heavy. No, they're not. Our best players are young. Our best players are the youngest guys on our team, which is crazy, right? Which is crazy. There are nights where Tari Eason is better than Dylan Brooks, right? Fred is still like the floor general. He is the guy that really drives what we do. But what you want to see over time is the power shift from vets to young guys. And this is what you are seeing over these past few games as you see Jabari and Sengun kind of getting up in their play. Sengun's been pretty consistent most of the season, had a rough patch in the month of December, but I feel like he's going to get rolling again. Remember, I told you guys, they're going to hit a wall. They're going to hit a wall in the middle of December, and like clockwork, it happened because the level of play that they have is something that they are not used to on a night in, night out basis. So efficiency was definitely going to tank. The defense was going to tank, but they're going to catch a second breath at some point in time. I still think they're working things out right now, but they're going to figure it out. And after that All-Star break, curtains. It's curtains for the league. I think they're going to go on a long run of beating teams. But you look at what I always use with the analogy of the training wheels on the bicycle, right? Right now, what you're seeing is old Coach Ime Udoka is getting his wrench out to unscrew some of those bolts off of that training wheel. It's not completely off yet. We still need those training wheels. We still need Fred VanVleet. We still need Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green to come in and help us out. But as time goes on, you'll see those wheels start to come off, and where the young guys are going to be driving that bicycle. They're the ones that are going to be pushing us to wins as time goes on. Maybe not fully this season, but think about like these dudes are going to have an off season to work out and get better, right? For next year. And then another one. And then another one. This is just the beginning, man. The Rockets are in a special place. And these two players, Jabari Smith Jr. and Alperen Sengun, are leveling up. This is special. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. And once again, let these kids grow, bro. They could have a bad 3-game stretch coming up. That doesn't mean you want to trade them. You want to just let them grow. We have to stop being so reactionary on a game-to-game basis. If you're going to criticize a player, criticize them on basketball stuff, not about, oh, we need to, like, bro, just criticize them. Like the video I made about Sengun, I criticized his defense because it was trash. But I also pointed out the team's defense was trash and Coach Udoka got out coached. You know what I mean? That's not anything crazy. That is reality. Let's talk basketball. Less narratives, less agendas, basketball. But the kids are doing what they're supposed to do. The Rockets are in the hunt for the playoffs, and they're going to keep pushing this thing going forward. Really curious to see how they react because they have several back-to-backs coming up against some pretty good teams, right? Like I already told y'all, we're beating up on bad teams. The teams that we're struggling against are elite, which is expected. How do they react to this? Because they got a bunch of games coming up. I hope they do well. You know what I mean? This is something I'm going to be looking out for. And you guys need to go vote Alperen Sengun into the All-Star game, okay? If you're a Rockets fan and you're not voting for your center to make an All-Star team, then you're not a Rockets fan. The link for the voting for the All-Star game is going to be in the description of this podcast and video. Go vote for Alp. Let's get him into the All-Star game. And this is not some cap. Like, bro is really like one of the best centers in the NBA right now. You know what I mean? All these run and dunk centers that people love, they're not doing anything. You go look at their percentages. Yeah, they're shooting 80% because they're being spoon-fed. The type of buckets that Alpi and Jabari and our guys are getting are tough, right? Ime likes to let guys isolate. He's going to let you hit your mismatch and go take advantage of it on your own merits, not on some like, oh, we're going to just keep lobbing to you. So y'all need to go vote for Alperen Sengun into the All-Star game. Let's try to get him in this year. Don't know if he's going to make it. I think he is an All-Star, but we'll see. But what was your favorite part of the game? Has Jabari and Sengun's chemistry surprised any of you guys? Was this something that you guys saw developing? I did, but is this something that you saw? Once again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit the like button to show support so other people can be able to see this great content that we produce here on the Chop Shop. Happy holidays to all of you guys. Make sure you spend time with your family. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop, and we're going to keep dropping that fire.